Harper 901, what's the location of your emergency?
My daughter is blue. I went to wake her up, and I just got home from lunch, and she won't wake up.
Okay, so is she breathing?
I don't think so, no. Jessie, she's cold.
She's cold?
She's cold. Oh, my God. Her pants are all wet. She's got, it looks like strangulation marks.
There are strangulation marks?
That's what it looks like. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Honey. No. Honey, no. No.
The 19-year-old was found dead in her bed by her mother more than a week ago with strangulation marks to her neck. She had come home from a cast party for the local production of Fiddler on the Roof hours before.
Jessie Blodgett was born on March 22, 1994 in Marietta, Georgia, to Buck and Joy Blodgett. The family later relocated to Hartford, Wisconsin, where Jessie grew up and attended Hartford Union High School, graduating in 2012. In 2013, she was a sophomore at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, enrolled in the music education program. She had received a Distinguished Talent Scholarship from the School of Music upon admission. That summer, she had returned home to Hartford. She had established a small private music teaching business with 26 students enrolled for piano, voice, and violin instruction within her first 2 months of operating it. She had also secured a role in a local community theatre production, Fiddler on the Roof, performed by a Hartford theatre group. She was cast as the Fiddler. That Sunday, the final matinee performance of Fiddler on the Roof took place. After the show, cast and crew members gathered at a pool party to celebrate the production's closing run. Jessie Blodgett attended. According to her mother, Joy Blodgett, Jessie returned home to the family residence on Wayside Drive at approximately 1 a.m. on July 15th. Joy Blodgett was awake when her daughter arrived home. Jessie went to bed. At approximately 8 a.m., Joy Blodgett went to her daughter's room to drop off clothing before leaving for work. Jessie appeared to be asleep. Joy left without disturbing her. Shortly after noon, a student arrived at the Blodgett home for a scheduled piano lesson. When Jessie failed to appear, Joy Blodgett called out to her daughter. Receiving no response, she went to the bedroom. She found Jessie unresponsive. She called 911 and began CPR.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Harper 901, what's the location of your emergency?
My daughter is blue. I went to wake her up, and I just got home from lunch, and she won't wake up.
Okay, so is she breathing?
I don't think so, no. Jessie, she's cold.
She's cold?
She's cold. Oh my God. Her pants are all wet. She's got, it looks like strangulation marks.
There are strangulation marks?
That's what it looks like. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Honey. No. No. Honey, no. No.
Hartford police were dispatched at 12:35 p.m. Officers arriving on scene found Jessie Blodgett on the bedroom floor, where her mother had moved her. She was pronounced dead. Officers secured the residence as a crime scene. There were no signs of forced entry. The Blodgett family confirmed to investigators that they did not regularly lock their doors. Hartford Police Detective Richard Thickens later stated that the scene showed no signs of ransacking. According to Thickens, the physical evidence indicated the perpetrator was familiar with the house and knew where to locate the victim. A Hartford police officer discovered a roll of tape inside Jessie Blodgett's bedroom. It was logged as evidence. An autopsy was conducted on July 17th by Dr. Linda Biedritsky, forensic pathologist with the Waukesha County Medical Examiner's Office. The findings: ligature marks on Jessie Blodgett's neck, wrists, and ankles, consistent with having been tied or bound. The marks on her neck were the most severe. The preliminary cause of death was determined to be ligature strangulation. Washington County Medical Examiner Bob Posson confirmed the manner of death as homicide. Forensic analysis also established that Jessie Blodgett had been sexually assaulted.
12 News' Christina Palladino is live in Hartford tonight. And Christina, police gave an update on the investigation, but it's providing little comfort.
Yeah, the latest from the Hartford Police Department here tonight is an email that we got on our phones earlier today. They had no updates on the investigation, but they did want to stress to the community there is no threat here in the Hartford area. Now, I spoke with several of Jessie Blodgett's friends tonight. They tell me she had no enemies, and they are trying to understand how this could have happened to her. Showing off her piano playing skills with her close pals was something Jessie Blodgett and this group of friends used to always do. But the last week and a half has been devastating to get through. They're in disbelief of Jessie's murder, and they're sticking close together.
She definitely made whoever she was talking to feel like they were the only person in the room.
Jacqueline was one of Jessie's best friends growing up together in Hartford. In fact, Jessie's parents asked her to paint this portrait of Jessie for her funeral. Jacqueline tells me she stayed up all night to do it.
I wanted to paint her. I've always wanted to paint her, so it was definitely a work of love.
Jacqueline and her friends say learning of Jessie's murder was shocking. The 19-year-old was found dead in her bed by her mother more than a week ago with strangulation marks to her neck. She had come home from a cast party for the local production of Fiddler on the Roof hours before. Police have only said they're in the process of an active investigation and that the public is not in danger. Jeremy Zellman is another friend from Hartford and studied music with Jessie at UW-Milwaukee.
I was just sort of in denial, I think. I mean, just because I can't imagine anybody who would wish anything ill against Jessie.
And according to court documents, police have interviewed at least one person of interest. Several search warrants were returned yesterday, but they have now been sealed. An autopsy on Jessie was completed, but it's not being released at this time. We're live at the Hartford Police Department. Christina Palladino, WISN 12 News.
Was a fellow cast member. Both individuals were questioned. Neither could be connected to the crime through evidence. Both were ruled out. Investigators searched Jessie Blodgett's phone records and Facebook account. No information was found indicating a known threat or conflict. The investigation was approaching a standstill when a development in a separate case changed its direction. 3 days before Jessie Blodgett's death, a separate violent incident occurred at a park in nearby Richfield, Wisconsin. A woman named Melissa Richards was walking her dog in the parking lot of the park when an unknown male attacked her with a knife. She was able to fight off the attacker by grabbing the blade of the knife with her bare hands. She sustained injuries to her hands, but escaped. She provided police with a detailed description of her attacker.
White male, 18 to 20 years of age, 6'2", 210 pounds.
Yep.
He had light blonde hair with very fair skin.
Yes.
Okay, and you said he had checkered shorts?
Plaid shorts, dark blue minivan, Dodge Caravan. I don't know what year. An older model, though.
A young male, blonde with shaggy hair, wearing glasses. He was driving a blue Dodge Caravan. Detectives working the Richfield Park knife attack had been seeking the suspect, described by Melissa Richards. One Hartford detective recalled having previously noticed a blue Dodge Caravan parked near a local park. He had noted the license plate. Investigators ran that plate. The vehicle was registered to 19-year-old Daniel Bartelt of Hubertus, Wisconsin. Bartelt's appearance matched the description Melissa Richards had provided. Investigators obtained surveillance footage from Woodlawn Union Park. The footage showed a young man walking through the park on the morning of July 15, 2013, the day of Jessie Blodgett's death. Detectives identified the individual in the footage. His name, Daniel Bartelt. Daniel Bartelt, also 19 years old at the time, was a former classmate of Jessie Blodgett at Hartford Union High School. The two had briefly dated as freshmen before remaining on friendly terms. Both were involved in theatre and music. In May 2013, 2 months before Jessie's death, the two had recorded a song together, which Jessie posted to her YouTube channel. Bartelt had attended a vigil at the Blodgett home on July 16th, the day after Jessie's body was found, where he spent several hours with the family. Detectives contacted Bartelt and brought him in for questioning. During the interview, he was questioned on both the Melissa Richards knife attack and Jessie Blodgett's death. Approximately 30 minutes into questioning, Bartelt admitted to attacking Melissa Richards, stating it was impulsive and that he had intended only to frighten her. Regarding Jessie Blodgett, he stated he had heard of her death from a friend on the morning of July 16th and denied any involvement.
You're off this way, right? This happened at a park. And if you have any knowledge about what this is, that's yes. What kind of vehicle do you have? I drive my parents' caravan.
He said he had been at Woodlawn Union Park on July 15th. The surveillance footage confirmed this. However, during questioning, Bartelt referred to Jessie Blodgett's death by saying that someone had raped and murdered her. The detail of sexual assault had not been released to the public. Investigators noted this discrepancy.
You were in your van, correct? Or your mom's van, or you just went after that girl, right? Yes.
On July the 17th, investigators searched Bartelt's home in Hubertus. They found a blue t-shirt and shorts bearing red stains, a plastic cable zip tie, electrical tape, bale of twine, and balled pieces of tape inside a grocery bag. They also found a book titled The Interpretation of Murder. On July 18th, Detective Thickens directed investigators to search garbage cans at Woodlawn Union Park, the location where surveillance had placed Bartelt on July 15th. Inside a discarded cereal box, investigators found several lengths of rope, including one attached to a homemade device covered in tape, rolls of masking tape and electrical tape, crumpled strips of tape, antiseptic towelettes with red stains, and paper toweling. On July 19th, Dr. Biagitsky examined the ligatures recovered from the cereal box against the injuries documented on Jessie Blodgett's body. The rope was consistent with the marks on her neck, wrists, and ankles. Forensic DNA analysis confirmed that both Jessie Blodgett and Daniel Bartelt's DNA were present on the ropes. Bartelt's fingerprints were found on tape recovered from the cereal box and on tape found under Jessie Blodgett's bed. A rape kit confirmed that Jessie Blodgett had been sexually assaulted. DNA evidence linked Bartelt to the assault.
New at 10, hundreds gathered tonight to mourn the loss of a murdered Hartford teenager, 19-year-old Jessie Blodgett. The entire community paid tribute to Jessie's life at Westside Park.
I'm Nick Bohr in Hartford, where police here have announced an arrest in the murder 2 weeks ago of 19-year-old Jessie Blodgett. The local actress was found strangled to death in her home here in Hartford. A 19-year-old Hubertus man has been arrested. Police, though, are not giving any additional information as to who he is, although I have spoken with the district attorney. He tells me he expects to file charges, and the suspect will be in court tomorrow on Wednesday.
Investigators examined Bartelt's laptop. His search history included multiple queries about serial killers, including body counts of known killers, Wikipedia entries on 2 high-profile strangulation cases, and the phrase spree killing. He had also viewed a pornographic video with a plot similar to the murder of Jessie Blodgett. According to court records, the prosecution later described this video as material Bartelt had watched on the morning of July 15, 2013, before going to the Blodgett home. Additionally, investigators found a device containing a partial manuscript, what appeared to be a fictional novel, that included a passage describing a character beating another character using a pillowcase filled with Lego pieces. On July 31, 2013, 16 days after Jessie Blodgett's body was found, Daniel Bartelt was arrested. He was already held in Washington County Jail on charges related to the Melissa Richards attack. Bartelt was charged with 1 count of first-degree intentional homicide for the murder of Jessie Blodgett. For the attack on Melissa Richards on July 12th, he faced 3 additional charges: first-degree attempted intentional homicide, first-degree recklessly endangering safety, and false imprisonment. Washington County Circuit Judge Todd Martins set bail at $750,000 for the murder charge. District Attorney Mark Benson had requested more than $1 million. During his initial court appearance, Bartelt appeared stone-faced. His defense attorney requested a mental health evaluation. Judge Martins granted the request. Bartelt was subsequently assessed and determined fit to stand trial. Daniel Bartelt's trial for the murder of Jessie Blodgett began in August 2014 in Washington County.
Jessie Blodgett's mom was the first person to take the stand in this trial.
When you would see Dan at the house on those 3 occasions, did Jessie and Dan appear to enjoy each other's company and be having a good time making music?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
When I entered the bedroom, I observed a female, later identified as the mother, Joy, doing CPR on another female body.
Police shot video of Jessie's room that day. The Blodgetts held each other close as prosecutors showed it in court. We won't show it here, but it included video of Jessie's body and the marks around her neck. The defense fought hard to keep that from jurors, but lost.
Correct. I don't think it's being offered for the purposes of exciting the passions of the jury, but rather for the purpose of assisting the jury in understanding the crime scene.
A detective took the stand for the second day in a row to talk about a video found on Bartelt's laptop. It's called "Poor Girl Raped and Strangled to Death." Investigators also thought it was telling that on the day Jessie died, it appears Bartelt tried to delete a video of Jessie from his computer. It's called Jessie's Song.
Did you find anything with regard to Jessie's song?
Yes, it was in unallocated clusters.
And what was in there?
The song file was sitting within the deleted files.
Assistant District Attorney Sandra Giernoth shows the jurors evidence found at a nearby park where she says Bartelt went after the alleged struggle and homicide took place. Bartelt's defense calls it circumstantial evidence.
These pieces of evidence alone are not sufficient. There are other reasonable explanations.
The prosecution is trying to link it to Bartelt. In Hartford, Ben Hutchison, WISN 12 News.
Evidence presented to the jury included the DNA matches on the ropes and tape recovered from the cereal box, fingerprint evidence from both crime scenes, surveillance footage placing Bartelt at Woodlawn Union Park on July 15th, his online search history, the material found in his home, and the statement he made during initial questioning in which he referenced the unreleased detail of the sexual assault. The defense maintained Bartelt's innocence throughout. After less than 3 hours of deliberations, the jury returned a verdict. Daniel Bartelt was found guilty of first-degree intentional homicide.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Daniel Bartelt, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in the information.
Well, Mike, while that guilty verdict came as no surprise to many people, it didn't make it any less emotional in the court. Families from both sides tell me tonight their hearts are heavy.
It's not a good day for anybody.
That's how the father of Jessie Blodgett describes the verdict after a heartbreaking trial. Daniel Bartelt was charged in the murder of his 19-year-old friend last summer. The guilty verdict coming after just 3 hours of deliberations. But Blodgett spoke briefly as he left the courtroom, fighting back tears.
Nobody won. Dan's family is a beautiful family who provided a loving environment. They're great people. I feel horrible for them today.
Including his DNA.
Jessie's screaming to us. She's screaming to us. She's telling us a story. His DNA is all under her fingernails, under her left hand, on her right hand.
Defense attorney Gary Schmaus argued evidence may have been contaminated and the state hadn't proved its case. Schmaus called this case a tragedy for both sides.
I just have compassion for both the Blodgett family and the Bartelt family for the very, very difficult ordeal that they've been through.
On October 14th, 2014, Judge Todd Martins sentenced Daniel Bartelt to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Buck, Joy, I can't give you the answers that you're looking for. You say how you count the days and the hours, and I do too. I have every day. There's no hiding from yourself in a tiny concrete cell. I have a disgustingly innate ability to lie to myself that I've exercised far too many times in my life, but I refuse to hurt someone other than myself by doing that. This jumpsuit that I'm wearing, these shackles that I'm put in, don't make me guilty. And I know there's evidence that I can't refute that would make you believe that I am guilty. I know that you feel I may have enjoyed how painful this process was for some of you, and at my worst, I've had that quality. I've made terrible mistakes along that line, but the only reason that I went to trial at all is because I was told I would not be allowed to make an Alford plea, to acknowledge that I couldn't refute the evidence and just accept sentencing without saying that I'd done something I hadn't. If I could have done that, I wouldn't have put any of you through this or my family.
Judge Martins,
For what you represent, I'm not trying to be combative, but I don't know whether I should fear you or loathe you. I struggle to understand someone who has, that any human should be given the ability to condemn his fellow man. But I do know that I pity you. I don't blame you for any of this. I think you've been extremely fair given what you have to work with. I can't prove that I'm innocent to anyone, not even myself. I can't prove that Jessie was a beautiful person, though she was, and I still remember her. I can't prove that the sun that I haven't seen for over 400 days still even rises and sets, but I like to believe that it does. Buck, again, I think it's incredible that such ugliness has begotten such beauty, and I've seen that from your entire family. I saw that the day after Jessie died when I was with you. I pray for you, for all of you, and I hope that, I believe that someday I will be before a court that will know that my conscience is clear. I love you. I'm so sorry for your loss.
At sentencing, Bartelt addressed Jessie Blodgett's parents directly. He maintained his innocence. He stated, "Buck, Joy, I can't give you the reasons you are looking for. There's no hiding from yourself in a tiny concrete cell. This jumpsuit that I'm wearing, these shackles don't make me guilty. I know there's evidence that I can't refute. That would make you believe that I am guilty." Judge Martins stated at sentencing that the gravity of the offense, the premeditation involved, and the nature of the crime warranted a sentence ensuring Bartelt would never return to the public. For the attack on Melissa Richards, Bartelt received a separate sentence of 5 years in prison plus 5 years of extended supervision. In September 2017, Bartelt appealed his conviction to the Wisconsin Supreme Court. His attorneys argued that statements made during his initial interrogation, before legal counsel was present, had been improperly used at trial in violation of his constitutional rights. The Wisconsin Supreme Court rejected the appeal, finding that investigators had acted within legal bounds. The conviction and sentence were upheld. Daniel Bartelt is currently incarcerated at the Wisconsin Waupun Correctional Institution. He continues to maintain that he is innocent of the murder of Jessie Blodgett. No motive for the killing has been formally established. After Jessie, the Blodgett family's response. In the months following Jessie Blodgett's murder, her father, Dr. Buck Blodgett, publicly stated his choice to respond to the crime without anger or a desire for revenge. At Jessie's funeral, attended by approximately 1,000 people, he stated that love would always be stronger than hate. 1 month after Jessie's death, 500 people attended a candlelight vigil in Hartford. The phrase, "Love is greater than hate," appeared on wristbands, t-shirts and banners throughout the gathering. In 2016, Buck and Joy Blodgett formally established the Love Greater Than Hate Project, a non-profit civil rights organization with the stated mission of ending male-on-female violence. The organization works to raise awareness of domestic violence and human trafficking. Buck Blodgett has since delivered hundreds of presentations at schools, prisons, corporations, and non-profits across the country. He has spoken at the Prairie du Chien Correctional Facility in Wisconsin, among other correctional institutions. At Daniel Bartelt's sentencing hearing, Buck Blodgett addressed him directly and stated that he had forgiven him. Buck Blodgett also authored a book, A Message from Jessie, documenting the events surrounding his daughter's death and the creation of the non-profit. The last song she recorded, 2 months before she died, was a duet with the person who killed her. It was still on YouTube the day he was convicted. Her father stood in the courtroom at sentencing and told Daniel Bartelt he forgave him. She was just 19. R.I.P. Jessie Blodgett.